Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and today we're going to be going over the all-new 2020 Dodge Charger SXT with all-wheel drive. This is pretty much the entry-level package for getting all-wheel drive with the Chargers. That's why I wanted to go over it. So, first and foremost, we're going to do a quick walk around the car, then we're going to take it out to see how it drives. A huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram Jeep Chrysler here in Sandy, Utah for providing us with the Charger. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get into the video. Under the hood here, we have a 3.6 liter V6 that goes to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs are 300 horsepower and 264 pound-feet of torque, with fuel economy being 18 around town and then 27 on the highway. Now let's go over things on the front end, starting with the hood. So the hood is just like any other Charger, pretty much just flat, but they do have a couple like lines running through it, so it makes it look a little bit neater. Now, we can see that we've got the projector bulbs. I've got them on. They are halogen bulbs, but you do get a little LED accents that go around those. The whole front grille is blacked out. There are little fog lights at the bottom there, but this is kind of like the distinct Charger look, and since this one's finished in white, it almost looks like a cop car. Now around the side here, we've got two 35mm tires and 19-inch rims in the front and in the back. Nothing too crazy going on. They do have the little Dodge dashes in the center. The brake rotors themselves are actually pretty large. It's kind of an interesting thing since this only has 300 horsepower, but it is a little bit of a heavier car, so you do need bigger brakes. Mirrors are body painted to the car, and it still has that kind of like distinct little C that goes to the door. And then here's kind of like a side view of the Charger. Here's the key fob for the Charger. You've got the Dodge logo on the back. You've got your unlock, lock, remote start, and then the trunk opening up. Now we'll do the remote start so you guys can hear what it sounds like. Makes a nice little V6 sounds. Now, if you press it again, that'll shut it right off. And then if we press the trunk release twice, that actually pops the trunk open all the way. The Chargers, but the Challengers don't do that. The Chargers do, which is pretty neat. In terms of space back here, I mean, you can see it's got a good amount of space. You can fold those seats down for extra space. And then this little loop right here, just grab that and, oh, it's kind of hooked in that little clip thing. But anyways, under here is going to be the spare tire, all that kind of stuff. So pretty good setup there. And then finally, when you're all done, all you got to do is just throw this back down. Oh, and you're good to go. Going over everything on the rest of the back, we've got that full LED light bar, signature of the Chargers. You've got the Charger Dash 4 logo in the back, and then a couple parking sensors with the dual outlet exhaust. And then you do have a body painted spoiler at the top. And other than that, that's everything for the back. Now opening up this door panel here for the rear, it's all blacked out. You have cloth with kind of like contrasted stitching. There is leather padding right here with more contrasted stitching, and it's kind of like floating at the end with the armrest. Now here are the actual seats for the rear. This one has the cloth seats in it. In terms of the padding on it, it's actually pretty nice. They're comfortable to sit in. We do get a couple USBs with a couple of vents back there, and then there is a little pull out for the cup holders, so you just pull this down and the cup holders are right there. And well, of course, we've got to step in. So coming in here, oh, it's actually pretty easy to get in. I've got the seat set right where I'd have it. I've got a decent amount of legroom, about 5'11", so if I sit here normally, I mean, it's a good amount. And then in terms of headroom, oops, I hit the seat right there. I've got a little bit, so I kind of like am almost touched the window, but not quite. But overall, I'd be actually pretty comfortable back here. One touch to lock it, and then to unlock it, just put your hand on the back of the door handle, and the little lock will pop right open. Now looking at this door panel at the front, it's identical to the rear with the design and everything. The only difference is the controls right here. So window controls, your mirror controls, all that, but like all the materials and everything are identical. Now here's the seat in the front. The bolsters on it are a little bit tighter, but it's made out of the same materials and still soft to touch. Fully power adjustable. Down here is our pedal layout. Got our light controls up here with our little trunk release, and then that is the steering wheel adjustment. And then here's just one more look at the front cabin. Start it up, just put our foot on the brake, push the push start. Gauges will do a little bit of a sweep, and everything will come to life, including the navigation, which takes a second to load up. Here's the steering wheel on the Charger. If we zoom in, obviously the Dodge logo. Got our cruise control on this side. Over here's the controls for the little center screen. Got our voice command controls with the Bluetooth. These are to shift the gears yourself manually, and then you do have rocker panels on the back of the steering wheel to go through the radio stations. Now we've got this nice perforated leather right here, which is a little bit grippier, and then on the top part it's a little bit smoother, just to basically make it look nicer. Here's the gauge cluster. So RPMs on the left side, on the right side, we've got the speed, and then there's a couple different menus you can scroll through. I like the performance. I've shown this on a bunch of the other cars, but I think it's cool they give you all those different performance menus on every single car, and 77 miles an hour, top speed so far. But all the other little gauge things are pretty normal on pretty much any other vehicle. We've got the center infotainment system. We're gonna do the navigation first. Loads up pretty well, and the navigation function's good. Now we're also gonna go up the backup camera. If we put it into reverse, you can see you've got the little trajectory lines, all that kind of fun stuff. And then other than that, there are heated seat controls. It does have dual zone climate, which you can control on the touch screen. And then you still do get the performance control, and then you also get the performance pages. They pretty much put that on every single Dodge now, which I think is pretty neat. We can do like the sport mode setup. It does have launch control where you set the RPMs, and I think it's interesting. It's 300 horsepower V6 Charger, but you still get launch control, which, I mean, but it's cool. Other than that though, the performance pages, I've done that on a bunch of other videos. All it basically gives you, oh, can't get over there. Anyways, all it basically gives you is just a bunch of different bits of information on the car, like horsepower, torque, all that kind of stuff. Down here, we've got our analog controls for the radio itself. That's for the dual zone climate. And then you do get the little 12-volt cigarette lighter right there so that you can charge your phone. Here's that shifter for the 8-speed automatic. It does have a manual shift mode. If you do want to shift the gears yourself, you can use the bump stick or you can use the paddles, whatever you prefer. Cup holders here, which you can cover up with that little covering, and these are the keys to a wide body Scat Pack. To be continued. Opening up the rest of the center console, it is lined with kind of like a soft touch. You do have another charging station in there. And then finally, coming over to the glove box, again lined with soft touch, and you can see all of the storage space in there. Now, the little sunglass holder that pops out, obviously the rear view mirror, light controls, fully black headliner. Other than that, I mean, there's not really much else to talk about up top. And I like the leather headrests a little bit more. Now that we are done going over the interior on this SXT all-wheel drive, I'm sure you guys are all wondering about pricing. So this particular SXT all-wheel drive stickers for almost $37,000. It's like $36,580. So if we round it up, $37,000 for any type of market adjustment. That all being said though, let's take this SXT all-wheel drive out, see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off here in the Charger. Visibility of the hood is just like any other Charger, but there's no hood scoops or anything, so just kind of goes off and then abruptly ends. Visibility throughout both of the mirrors is pretty decent. You can see through the other mirror, and then all throughout the rear of the Charger, it's actually pretty good. The window slopes down a good amount, and so compared to like the Challenger, this is significantly easier to see out of. And let's set off initially here. Now what I'm going to talk about first and foremost is going to be kind of like the maneuvering, because I had to maneuver a little bit in the parking lot, and the Charger definitely drives smaller than it actually is, which I was pretty impressed with. I mean, it's a larger size like sedan, and some people even call it a muscled sedan when they have the V8s in it. And so it, like I said, it drives relatively small for how large the car actually is. And then now actually getting up and going with the Charger here, the ride quality so far is really smooth. This is kind of more, I guess, GT tuned is the best way for me to put it. It just kind of has like a smooth, like float type ride. This is built off of a Mercedes-Benz chassis, so kind of makes sense with that. In terms of the noise that comes through the cabin, I mean, obviously I can hear it raining because it's going to be raining all day, sadly. But other than a little bit of rain noise, you hear a little bit from the tires, but it's pretty well insulated. And taking some turns here, it handles really well through these little turns that I'm going through. I'm not really noticing all that much body roll or anything. And so, yeah, I mean, it's relatively sporty, especially for what it is. Now we are making another turn here, and yeah, again, it's easy to maneuver. The steering is really light. Now, there is a little bit of vagueness with the steering that I'm noticing, but it's light, it's a comfortable steering rack. Just understand that it's not like super sports car direct. And now we are going to get a proper acceleration right here in front of the Jimmy John's mobile. Oh man, hear that V6 roar. In terms of the acceleration, I mean, it doesn't have that same punch that the V8 offerings have with the Charger or with the Challenger. That being said though, I mean, it's more than enough power. It gets up and goes. I got up to the speed limit there pretty quickly. And so, I mean, I don't really feel like I need more power. It'd be cool if this was an all-wheel drive V8 car, but I feel like that'd be asking for a little bit too much from Dodge right now. And let's lead that into summing things up for this all-wheel drive Charger. So I think if you like that muscle car, like that big substantial feel, this is gonna be a great route to go if you need the all-wheel drive. Now, if you don't need the all-wheel drive and you can fork out a little bit of extra money for the V8, I definitely recommend it. But if you need all-wheel drive, you still want the cool Charger looks, and you need something that's practical, you can drive in the snow, then this SXT all-wheel drive is going to be a great route to go with that. There we have it, everyone. The all-new 2020 Dodge Charger SXT all-wheel drive. I wanted to thank you all for watching, and then again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Sandy for providing us with the car. Check out their inventory in the link below if you're in the market for new Dodge Ram. If you're stopping in for the first time, please subscribe. I will see all of you in that next video.